Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. And after days of lapping up the long neck allegations, Scrappy has now responded in kind, calling out other pro players, the likes of Ghosty, Octane and ZooMaa, for also having a rather long neck, and saying that it's only him that gets roasted, despite the fact that that shouldn't necessarily always be the case. Also saying that OpTic fans love him when he roasts other teams, but when he roasts their players, then all of a sudden it's a problem. Lots to dive into today. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, the Forbes 30 under 30 was done yesterday. Unfortunately, Ben didn't quite make the Forbes 50 under 50, but or the Forbes like above 30 or whatever the case is. But Andy Cat was actually nominated for this, which is kind of cool stuff. Now, I know that the 30 under 30 always, especially over the last couple of years, has gained a little bit of an interesting reputation, shall we say, because of the people that tend to get on there and what they might end up doing afterwards. It's also never like 30 under 30. I think there's 30 in each category, isn't there? So there's, I don't know how many there are total. Is there near like 1,000 with all the different categories have? Not exactly sure. And there's people say that, like, I don't know, people say that people pay to get on here. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but my understanding is that it's kind of like there's like a nomination thing, or if your friends vouch for you, then you get on here. I don't know. Whatever you guys think, I think it's cool for Ali that she made it on here as part of this. But it also just kind of reminds me, with Lando stepping away, what the situation is for next year's, because the matches start relatively soon. Maybe by the time this video goes live, we'll have an announcement on this, but, the way the CDL has gone the last few days, the last couple of weeks, with not making too many announcements, I kind of wonder what they're going to do. But the season starts soon, the online qualifiers start soon. Lando confirmed he's stepping away from casting. So what does that mean for Study? Is Study going to have a new casting partner? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out relatively soon, or maybe we just won't, and we'll turn up on the day and see what's actually happening. Now, this was also spotted yesterday. This might be just somebody making this account to ensure that they have the @ on Twitter, on x.com, but maybe this is actually FaZe. So FaZe, of course, big brand, especially in the Counter-Strike side, third-party match and tournament provider, and just last week, a couple of days ago, they put a post on the Reddit to say, hey, we're interested in COD, and that was rumoured to be related to the potential moving on from the CDL and to maybe ESL/FaceIt/Esports Engine, all part of the same thing, running the CDL going forwards, but also maybe running challenges, because, let's be honest here, there's no game battles come January. A platform like FaceIt would be very much ideal to run the challenges system on. So maybe this is related. I guess we shall see. But I'd be very surprised if it isn't related, to be honest, in terms of what happens to COD over the next 18 months or so. Let's go through some scrims. The Spartans, a Temps team, they played Boston yesterday. And actually, Boston pretty impressive in this one. As I've said, it's going to take some time for Boston. I'm sure Slasher and Priestahh realise that there's a lot of work to be done with Snoopy and Capsidal, and to get these guys playing from an SMG perspective the way they want to. But we'll see a clip here in a couple of minutes of Snoopy just smoking Scrappy off the top rope. So the talent is obviously there. It's about putting it to the best use. So Temps team, we know they've been pretty competitive, but, sub-base 250 to 99... Sub-base, man, this map is always going to be, fun to watch. I'm not going to lie. Getting to 250, we know it's a bit of a challenge, but some teams are doing it now. They know, especially at this point, isn't it, really, on the top of their submarine. That's one of the real difficult ones to actually lock down, and teams are starting to kind of get the hang of how to do it a little bit more. They put them in the 100-point club here. A lot of the other maps they won as well. The Terminal, the Skid Row, they lost the Invasion. Houston won the Karachi, but not sure on the score on that one. And then they played a couple more maps where Boston won both the controls they played on HyDra and Karachi. Interesting, they're not really playing Invasion Control, because that's in the rule set, isn't it? Technically, that's in the CDL rule set. But I wonder if, because I think some of the teams just don't scrim that right now, which makes me think that maybe they're just going to, everyone's going to auto-veto it because it plays terrible. I don't know. Tweet your thoughts on that. But if it's in the official map set, then someone could, allow it through. It would be kind of interesting. We also saw a Seams roster play against the New York Subliners. And this was, maybe more interesting just because New York actually lost this scrim set rather emphatically. Now, of course, losing a scrim set, it doesn't massively matter. We talked about this with OpTic for the last few days. Scrims at this point, 3 weeks into the game, just don't matter that much in the grand scheme. But at the same time, the games start in a week and a little bit. If you're doing well now, you're likely to be doing well when the season starts. Those early matches don't mean that much. Major one is always a bit random. And let's not forget, last year, I'm pretty sure New York Subliners last year started the year 0-3 in their qualifiers, and they turn up to the major and won it. So, just because they're not doing so well now doesn't necessarily mean that in a couple of weeks' time they won't be. But still, it's relevant for discussion nonetheless, because these guys are the world World Champions, they made a questionable roster decision, getting rid of Priestahh, bringing Sib into their roster, and they played a Seams team, and they went down 7-3, I believe, over the 10 maps they played. So this is Kremp, Brack, Asim, and Exceed. They lost the Invasion 250-129. The Karachi was 174 in their favor. Skid Row, they did win kind of comfortably. That's a map of, if you get the rotations, you are cooking on that one. And the Terminal was super tight. But look at this. Terminal, Invasion, Karachi, Skid Row. Like the second time they played around, Asim's roster won all of these. And then the final couple of maps, though, did go the way of Subliners on Subbase and Terminal. 250, 186, 189 respectively, pretty much. But overall, that's 7 to Asim's roster, 3 to New York Subliners team. Obviously too early to read too much into this stuff. I know that some people have been going around joking, oh, well, here we go, OpTic in New York, they're not making champs this year, these guys are trash, but that's not necessarily going to be the case. It's just practice, but it's good to see how these teams are getting on to understand. And, you know, I think the way they're performing now is going to be relevant to how they perform in a week and a bit. I'm pretty sure OpTic in New York as well is like the first qualifier game they play against. At least OpTic's first qualifier game, I think, is against New York. Maybe the other way around as well, which is going to be kind of exciting, right, to see how those two teams get on, because whoever loses is going to get roasted. You guys know how it is. Now let's talk about Scrappy, right, because you know, he's been cooking over the last few days. We know that he gets roasted a bit and then he claps back. We know how Scrap operates. You know, he's willing to dish it out, therefore he knows that he's going to have to take it as well. We get such a discussion here between Methods and Scrappy going down just last night, for example. But Scrappy was coming out with a lot of statements over the last few days. I thought this one was pretty funny as well on OpTic fans in general. His thoughts that when he's roasting other players and other teams, the OpTic fans love him, you know. And to be fair, there were certain OpTic fans that were like, well, you know, if things don't work out with certain players, what about we get Scrappy onto OpTic, just as an example? And look, I don't think that would be so bad in theory on paper anyway, but of course he's staying on Toronto for the time being. But it says that when he starts to roast Shotzzy or some of the OpTic players, then all of a sudden they roast him. And of course, it's understandable why that tends to be the case. But he also comments here on other pro players, because he takes a lot of flack for his, like, you know, the long neck or whatever. We saw even yesterday, Crim6 was roasting him, Brachiosaurus, all this stuff. And I know that Scrap finds it kind of funny in some respect. I'm sure that, you know, I don't know how self-conscious he is about this stuff, but obviously he finds it kind of funny, right? And lots of players, I've got a pretty long neck as well, so I don't know, I just think this whole thing's just kind of entertaining, to be honest, in general. And Scrappy then comes back and says, look, it's not just me, I get roasted for the long neck, but it's not just myself, you know, we got the likes of Octane, we got the likes of even ZooMaa, and he throws in that ZooMaa's got a massive, like, honking nose on him as well, and then he throws Ghosty into the mix also. So yeah, just a couple of clips I wanted to share.
They might spawn old, maybe.
They rotated. Dude, this fucking kid, bro. Top plat. God.
I killed one top 3.
Nice.
One is like playing fuck.
Yeah. One's hitting old, bro. He might be hitting 3 seconds.
You're right. Yeah, they might. No bullshit.
This fucking kid right here. This little fucking idiot. Get over here. Look at him flying off, bro.
I'm waiting at 3.
Nah, my neck, it do be type long. Like, I can't lie. I do got a long ass neck. But like, so many people do. Look at, yo, Tommy's got a long ass neck and a big ass nose. Okay. Let's see who else. Octane shit. That motherfucker looks like a long ass neck with like placed in Minecraft with his box head. We can keep going with pros too. Like T's head looks like a bowling ball rolling down the court. We can just keep going, but no one's gonna talk about that. Only talk about me. It's all good though. I like it. I like it. It is funny. Some of you do got me crying laughing. Yeah. Oh, ghosty shit's bro. That shit might be longer than mine, bro. During the season, all the OpTic fans, like, I'm gonna be real, all the Ops fans love it when I talk shit to other teams. Talk shit to OpTic, oh, it's over. It's over, bro. Next thing you know, like, they started pulling up 5 years ago. People take me saying, that's why you retired to Damon. Damon retired literally 3 years ago. And people think that they're like, dude, bro, chill the fuck out, bro. That's why, if that's real, that's why I have so much hate, like, right now. Because I played Ant, like, literally, I pretty much played Ant every tournament. So when I talk shit to Ant, like, it just, and then there's so many clips that come out, and then every clip is just postponed about me, like, being a villain and shit. Like, let's be honest, like, we all know. But we're having fun with it, bro. Who cares?
So obviously feel free to do a comparison in your own time on, okay, Ghosty, Neglect, Scrappy, Neglect, whatever. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's all good games and good fun, really. But Scrappy knows what he's doing. He dishes it out. He's got to take it. You know how it is. And for some time now, people wanted a bit of a villain in the scene. And, okay, Scrappy turns up to the party. And all of a sudden, we've, got to, I think, appreciate what Scrappy brings to the table at the moment. There was also this clip I shared, right, of Scrappy roasting Snoopy. He tries to get up here, top 3. And Snoopy just comes flying off the top row. It's like, this is just you'd think this was Shotzzy, wouldn't you, really? There's not many players that would make the play that Snoopy makes here to just absolutely fly off and gun him in air. And obviously, Scrap not so happy about that one. But, yeah, that's why people call Snoopy the, Mexican Shotzzy or whatever. But, Shotzi's also Mexican, so I guess it doesn't really work. Speaking of Karachi, the map that we just saw, for some reason, Slasher had an issue. And there are some glitches in this game right now. And I do wonder whether these will affect the CDL at all. Let's not forget last year the SAE, the glitch, the replay, the Rocker versus OpTic thing. That was mega drama. Slasher says he played a Karachi where every piece of cover, the cars, the dumpsters, the bus, etc., were completely invisible, but yet he couldn't shoot through anything. They were still there. He just couldn't see them. So I don't know what causes this, but Gunler says that it would happen in the last game as well, which just goes to show that this game is basically just Control-C, Control-V last year, to be honest. But at least that wasn't what it was intended to be, but then they thought, all right, maybe we can still sell this for the regular price. And just before we close out, wanted to mention this. Way too early. Maybe it's not too early, because at least we do know the rosters now. CDL 2024 predictions time. Winner, runner-up, dark horse, biggest bust, MVP and Rookie of the Year. Difficult to say. Champs winner, I'd like to say Toronto. I feel like what I love about the CDL, so, okay, I don't love the CDL, but if you look at the last several years, every year there's been a different champs winner. And as I've said before, I can think that this year of the CDL might be the last year it happens like this. And I would kind of like to see if every single year there was a different winner. So we've had FaZe won it once. Dallas Empire won it once, which is kind of OpTic Texas. It's the same organization, but it's not really. So if OpTic won, that would be a different organization. Obviously, New York Subliners won a world championship. Los Angeles Thieves won a world championship. So of the big teams, I'm looking at Toronto and OpTic. I think that, I think Toronto champs winner would be very interesting, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. So I'm going to say I'll go Toronto champs winner, champs runner-up. I mean, I don't know. I want to say FaZe. I know it's tough for FaZe if they were to lose another one, but I feel like that's plausible, right? FaZe have made so many grand finals, so I don't know. I'd go Toronto, FaZe. Dark Horse, I think there's a few that could come to mind. One of which, of course, would have, Thieves or Boston, right? Potentially could be good. But also, I think probably a better one to say is either Surge or maybe Ravens. Like, I don't know. I actually really kind of like that Ravens team. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how they're going to do it as the year progresses. But yeah, I think maybe there could be a correlation. I think either I will choose Seattle and I'll go Rookie of the Year aBeZy, or I'll go Ravens and Rookie of the Year Gwyn, which I think is also plausible. So I think I'll do the latter, and I'll say Carolina as the dark horse, and I'll take Gwyn winning Rookie of the Year. Biggest bust? I mean, look, there's really only two options that come to mind, one of which is the Subliners, I guess. If they don't work out, they were the world champions, they made the questionable change, that could be one. And then also OpTic is also an option, right? Because the expectations on them are massive, and if they don't win an event, then that's a big bust. I think I'll say New York, just because I think I'm confident that OpTic, I mean, that team, surely it can't not deliver. You know what I mean? Whereas New York, I feel like, I don't know, there's more questions, I think, that I have with New York than I have with OpTic right now, but don't know what you guys think about that. And MVP could go so many different ways. My feeling on MVP is to say Simp, I'm not going to lie, because I think the regular season, FaZe will still win everything, and I think Simp will be FaZe's best player this year. Maybe not, but I don't know. I'd say Simp, obviously HyDra's in with a mix, but going back-to-back MVP, probably not going to happen. Could do Scrappy as well, definitely should be in the conversation. So I think it's between Simp, Cell, and Scrap. Those are my early 3 picks for MVP, I guess. But very much intrigued your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.